How's it going, everyone? So the PlayStation 5 Pro has been revealed. Look, I watched the technical test and I rushed to make a video on it, and now the PlayStation blog has put out a post with a lot more information, and I want to give you guys my thoughts on some other notes that have dropped. This is a $700 console, and to reiterate from my last video, I don't think that $700 price tag is a big deal. When you create a premium console, honestly, you are catering this console for a very, very small amount of people, at least relatively small in the grand scheme of things. And given that the PlayStation 5 still exists, and you'll be able to use that for the entirety of the generation, I don't think it's that big of a deal that this souped-up console is as expensive as it is. It is catered for nerds like me that want the best performance, that want the best resolution, so on and so forth, and it's going to be priced at $70 and, $70, $700. And, Sony's in a position where they have a lion's share of the market, and when you're talking about products that are catered towards their most invested and their most desperate for the higher resolution, higher performance, you can drain a lot more money than them, and you can be a lot more free with how you're gonna price that than, let's say, a standard console that is marketed for the average person. That's just the reality of the situation. That is always gonna be the reality when it comes to premium products like this. If this was the only option and there wasn't a regular PlayStation 5, yeah, I would say that $700 is memes. I would say that's way too expensive, but that is not the case. However, if you are giving me a $700 box, I would expect it rounded out with all of the features that I would expect. And the fact is, there will be no bundled in disk drive with this PlayStation 5 Pro. That is insane to me. I get that there's a lot of benefits with PlayStation 5 Pro. Most notably, I think, is obviously outside of the graphical benefits and everything like that, you do have a 2TB SSD that is included with the PlayStation 5 Pro. So as far as digital-only products go, you'll be able to install on it, and you have to install your games anyway physically, but you got the idea. They're bundling in a 2TB SSD. I do think that's quite nice. And from Sony's lens, and this is me talking from Sony's lens, not my lens, because I think it's terrible that there's not a disk drive, I understand why they are doing it, because you're talking about catering this product towards your most hardcore. You get your most hardcore audience who are going to be your predominant game buyers. If you can get a large majority of them to give up on physical games now and also move fully digital, that's even more money you're raking in from them. That's even more invested you are getting. I don't want to say your whales because I am one of them, but for the sake of the terminology, let's say the term whales. Like me, I'm a whale that is going to spend so much money, and you're going to get so much more out of them from being in that ecosystem, especially if they are shifted to digital only. I am speaking this from Sony's lens. Sony views people like me as their whales that are going to spend a lot of money. How can we get those whales to become digital only? Let's release the PlayStation 5 Pro. We're gonna save money by not offering the disc drive. They're gonna buy it anyway because there are whales, and maybe they'll end up buying the disc drive, but that off chance that they just decide not to buy the external disc drive and they just go digital, which is absolutely there given that it's not bundled in, suddenly you're spending even more money, or rather, not you spending more money, they're getting a bigger return on it. And if you do want a disc drive, hey, we're the whales after all. I'm one of the whales. Sony perceives me as one of their whales. I'll end up buying the disc drive. I am talking about that from Sony's lens and making sense out of what Sony is doing for them to make as much money as possible. Look, Sony's been absolutely egregious this generation with their pricing, like PlayStation Plus going up in price, DualSense, and again, price goes up, value proposition goes down. That has been a Sony thing this entire generation, or at the best, value proposition stays the same. In the case of this PlayStation 5 Pro, obviously you are getting a lot more performance, you are getting a lot more mileage with, a lot of games being able to run at 4K 60 FPS, but with a $700 console, from a consumer standpoint, now let me talk as a consumer, not getting a disc drive is absolutely insane to me. PS5 Pro is available as a discless console with the option to purchase the currently available disc drive for PS5 separately, so you can turn it into a console that now can play disc, but at that point you are spending damn near $800, over $800 after tax for the console. You want to buy one game, suddenly that purchase is looking like a $900 purchase after tax. If you want the PS5 Pro, the disc drive, and a physical game, let's say it's $60, $70, you are spending after tax $900. That is insane, but again, this is a premium platform, and when you look at it from the lens of Sony, when you're marketing these premium platforms, you can get away with a lot more. That is just the unfortunate reality that I am sorry to break into you guys. That is how it works, especially when you're in Sony's shoes and you're just like, we have no competition anymore. We have our competitor putting their games on our platform. We can do whatever the hell we want. And that is where Sony is at this point, which is absolutely, let me reiterate, as I've been saying it so many times, absolutely horrendous, absolutely awful for the consumer, but I'm not going to be as vehement as about something like this because it is a premium console targeted for the whales like me. Again, I feel like I have to say like me, so I'm in that category because I absolutely am in that category. It's the whales, it's the people with a lot of disposable income that aren't gonna give a damn about buying a disc drive, aren't gonna give a damn about buying a $700 console. That's just the reality from a business standpoint where PlayStation is viewing a console like this at. I do think there's value in a console like this, as I said in the previous video, where a lot of people are like, why does this console exist? Sony has no software, they should be focusing on software. They absolutely should be focusing on software. Nobody has been more critical, at least damn near nobody has been more critical than me, and maybe some of you guys view me as being overly critical about PlayStation's horrendous first-party output. I think this has been one of the worst generations of all time for Sony first-party output. Let me reiterate, first-party output that I've ever seen. And, you know, they absolutely should be working on that after dropping the abomination that is Concord. They should be working on software. At least we got Astrobot that has been received really well. But as far as this console goes, not having a disc drive is absolutely insane. And then you look at stuff like DualSense going up in price. You look at stuff like PlayStation Plus going up in price. The price points of a lot of their accessories. PlayStation Portal. You know, they have these products that's catered for their absolute hardcore, and there is something to the business idea of, okay, we have a product and we're gonna sell stuff to our casual or more sane consumers, and then the ones that are so invested into PlayStation, let's just draw more and more and more money out of it. But it's, you lose me once it's stuff like PS Plus, which should be a general subscription service, and DualSense going up in price. That, in my opinion, is egregious. A premium console, them not offering a disc drive, I think is absolutely egregious, but at some point I'm like, yo, this is getting funny to the level of how much they want to draw money from their hardest of hardcore. Their most loyal fans, they're just like, let's just get even more money out of them. Like, at some point I gotta find the humor in it. But yeah, the fact that it's a discless console is kind of insane at $700, but you know, their most loyal fans are also just gonna buy the disc drive, so it's not gonna end up being that big of a deal. It's a big deal when stuff like, again, DualSense goes up in price and Plus goes up in price. That annoys me a lot more, but this does annoy me to an extent, but it's just so blatant about how much they're trying to suck money from their most loyal that I have to respect the hustle at some point. Or something, I gotta respect the hustle at some point with you being this wild about it. $700 and no disc drive, that's almost hilarious, like in the worst way possible, but almost hilarious. And that is something you also have to contend with when they've got no competition and they can do whatever. They have free reign to do almost whatever they want. They can get to a point where they'll be checked by the consumer. I don't think this is gonna be one where they're gonna get checked by the consumer. Concord was one where they got checked by the consumer. PS5 Pro, I don't believe it is. But that's gonna do it for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.